What's up, everybody? Brett Okamoto, along with one of my favorite fighters to talk to. It is former UFC champion Max Holloway, who takes on Justin Gaethje at UFC 300 for the oh-so-coveted BMF belt. Max hasn't fought, or we haven't seen him fight since the Korean Zombie fight at the end of last summer. Max, thank you so much for joining us. I've got plenty of questions for you, obviously, but with the backdrop, do you have a favorite pair of shoes? What is the favorite, the top one at the current moment?
Right now the favorite one pair of shoes, brother, gotta be. I got one done from Des Customs. Des Customs. I don't know if you ever heard of him. Yeah, he did a custom one for me, so that was probably my favorite. ESPN actually gave it to me. It was like a piece for ESPN, so pretty
Mhm.
sick.
How many pairs of shoes do you think you got now?
It dropped. I gave. I had to. I will. I was forced to give away a bunch because my wife said it was taking up too much room in the house. So
Did you fight back at all, or you just accepted
nah, about
immediately
that.
that that
Nah,
was
about that. Nah, about that. Happy wife, happy life, guys. Happy wife, happy life, guys. You guys need to, I put the pants on. She tells me the color, bro. That's just the way it works.
you're full of wisdom, man. I think that's probably the smartest thing that you say, though. We're talking about this fight with Justin Gaethje. If we're being honest, of course, it's not the fight you wanted, but how long can somebody duck you, right? I mean, the daddest man on the planet, it just ain't gonna happen with DC. It's just never gonna happen. So you give up on that dream and you go forward with the BMF title, huh?
I've been trying to get. I mean, the baddest man on the planet is not. It's still not out of reach, you know. Like maybe DC come back for 400 or something. We both can like be retired and come out of retirement for UFC 400 because I don't know if I'm going to be around for that, but. At the end of the day, I guess the next best thing is fighting one of his favorite golfing partners in Justin Gaethje. A real BMF, a guy who really wants to fight. So kudos to Justin. Justin's the man for this. And then again, Daniel needs to rethink his life of what he's doing.
In so many ways, man. How did this fight come together? Because obviously you're in a great spot at 145. When it kind of, I wouldn't say it came out of nowhere because both of you guys had sort of addressed the possibility of it, but how
Yeah.
did this fight come together?
I mean, it just kind of came together because I I had the fight with Allen, I did the fight with Korean, and then they went a different way with the 145 title shot. And then at the time, Charles was booked to fight Islam. So I was just being like, hey, Gaethje, if you don't want to wait around, we could do one. We could do one for the fans, and JC Gaethje being the BMF that he is, ended up taking the fight. We're on UFC 300, huge, huge card, the huge card that's going to be all year, I believe, for this year. And we're here now, and I get to share the octagon with a legend, with a guy who's not only, a legend at the 155 division in all of mixed martial arts, a future Hall of Famer. And I get to mix it up with him. And I think the fans are in for a treat for this one.
Did you expect him to accept it, or were you kind of throwing it out there thinking like, eh?
I just was kind of throwing it out there, because I know how someone like him he loves to fight. That guy really loves to fight. He was put on a start to fight, so I feel the same way as him. Let's do it out there, and I just thought it was crazy when they announced Islam versus or not Islam, when Charles versus someone else on 300, and then I was like, oh man, we're probably definitely not gonna get it now. And then the next fight was me and him announced, which was kind of like, wow, we got it, we did it, and that just proves to Justin Gaethje and why he's the rightful owner of the BMF belt right now. The guy's a bad mother sucker, and I'm excited for this.
I mean, we know that you love what you do. You like to challenge yourself. I mean, you once were going to fight Habib Nurmagomedov and drop like what, like 100 pounds in 2 days. It seemed like, flying over to Brooklyn. So we know that you take on challenges, but at the end of the day, like why do you want this? Like, because you're sitting in a good spot at 145. I know that you really want a fourth fight against Volkanovski. Like, I know that you want to write that
Mm.
at some point. So what is it? Is it like a payday? Is it like is it the BMF title? Is it like just to stay active? What was the main reason for you, asking for this fight?
I mean, I mean, uh, Out of everybody in this sport, you're one of the guys to know that having options in this sport is the main thing, and going out there, first things first is always Justin Gaethje. It's always Justin Gaethje. I got my mind set on him. I know how good. I have a Hall of Famer, a future Hall of Famer standing in front of me, a very dangerous man. Never sense power in every single limb of his body is in front of me. So first things first is him. But we'll go out there, we handle business, You know, just there's more options. Like I said, 45 and 55, you know, now we're doing it the right way. And I I can get to 45 easy, you know. I just having options, you know. They got that fight in February. You know, Gaethje is Gaethje. You know, who we go out there, we take care of business and we handle business the correct way, and a, a bunch more options is gonna open up. So that's just it, you know. It was just a fun fight, and being able to share the octagon with Gaethje, like I said, it's just amazing.
I know that you have a good relationship with your fans, of course, and I know that when you're live streaming, you don't really talk too much about fights. But what was it? What has like the fan reaction been like as far as what you've received? What have the fans been saying about this fight since it was announced?
Oh, they love it, man. A lot of people love it. A lot of when it was like when I first threw out the tweet in October, a lot of people was going crazy. Of course, there's some naysayers saying of what happened because of the last time I went to 55 with the Poirier fight, the second one, and it is what it is. You know, that's such a difference. That's so years. That was so many years ago. You know, we're attacking this time way more smart than what it is. No excuses for that last time. I'm not making no excuses. But, you know, I have 4 or 5 years, whatever it is, of just being a grown up, being smart, you know, and doing things the right way now. So, you know, at the end of the day, I just can't wait, you know. There's always gonna be naysayers, you know. This sport, you're only as good as your last fight. So, you know, I go out there, do my thing at UFC 300, and, you know, been doing what I've been doing my whole career, you know, just proving the naysayers wrong.
Do you think there will be any part of you that we watch UFC 298 in Anaheim next month, and regardless of kind of what happens, if it sort of feels on that night, like let's say Ilya wins or let's say Volk wins and even like mentions you or whatever the case is, if on that night we're kind of sitting there saying like, man, it would make sense to put Max Holloway in a 145-pound title fight next. Will any part of you be like, dang, I shouldn't like I should have just waited. I shouldn't have I should have just waited to
Mm.
see if I could get in this 145-pound title fight.
Never, never, never. You know, I mean, August is gonna be my last fight. Then fighting in Feb. When are they gonna be able to turn around? You know what I mean? I would think the close. I mean, depends on what happens. You know, of course, if it's a fast knockout or whatever, they could probably turn around fast. But do they really want to turn around fast? Whoever is the champion at that time. There's so many questions are going on this and that, and like me waiting around from August to Feb, and then after that to fight, that'd be like a whole year. You know, me fighting in April is me fighting April 13th. When was the Arnold Allen fight? Do you know? Was it April 15th, 14th? It was April 14th, right? I think it was 14th.
Mhm.
But me fighting this time in April, I fought 3 times in a year. It's gonna be 3 times in 1 year I'm fighting. And that's the kind of pace I want to hold. 3 times in a year, 2 times is great, 3 times is even better. So, you know, that's what we're doing. You know, I want to stay active. You know, if I go out there, which is a hard job to do. Get out there unscratched against a guy in the highlight. So it's very tough. But if I can turn around fast, we're gonna do that. You know, that's what we do. So at the end of the day, I didn't want to wait around. And Brett, you know me long enough, and I complain about guys all the time. Like, I'm gonna wait for my shot. Oh, I'm gonna wait for this. And you know, it's just crazy when people say that. I think it's the most insane thing. And you know, that's why Gaethje is a true BMF. You know, he could have waited, he could have did stuff, and he's here fighting me on UFC 300, and I think it's gonna be a great one.
Had the UFC came to you with any options since Zombie, or was it kind of where you both kind of knew that you were chilling for a little bit?
Not really. Yeah, we was trying to. I was trying to harass my agent Tim about telling him what we wanted to do. He's asking me when I wanted to go. The UFC 300 card was thrown up in the air a bunch of times. I was trying to tell him whoever, whatever. I just want to be a part of this card because I feel like I'm probably not going to be around for UFC 400. So, you know, I missed out on UFC 200. So this card was really the main focus. And, you know, this fight came to fruition. And, you know, what better fight to have on the hugest card of the year?
Yeah. You mentioned the Poirier fight where you went up a couple times. I have a specific question about what might be different, but I want to ask generally to you, what is the biggest difference between how you're approaching this one and the last one?
I think me personally I was just a big 45er going up to that one. This one, my eating habits, my nutritionist, you know, my wife is keeping me in check. doing a little bit stuff different, just having the IQ of going out there and feeling what it was for that first one is great. So I think so. You guys are gonna see a proper sized person for this one, especially against Gaethje. So I'm excited. The main thing is just the size. I feel like I was just a big 45er. You know what I mean? And I hate using excuses. Everybody asked me the question. That was like a long time ago, a couple years ago, and I was just a big 45er. I believe in now, and then I think in this one you guys get to see a difference. So if you guys want to see the difference, tune in April 13, and I shall show you guys.
What how did you feel it the most against in the Poirier fight? Was it just like when you kind of locked up physically, or was it power? What like was it just overall like kind of just like sturdiness? How you felt? I mean, how did you feel smaller?
I just, I mean, you can just look at me. You know what I mean? Go back in that fight and go look at me, Brett. Like pull a picture up for whenever you put this event or whatever. Even use that as your thumbnail for this video, brother. I think I had love handles or something. People tease me all the time for that fight. So, at the end of the day, it is what it is, power or whatever. Like, of course, Dustin had more power in that fight. It showed probably in the first round the most, but, you know, a lot of people is gonna talk. They're gonna talk the talk, but they just remember watching the highlight of the fight. Go really rewatch that fight and go tell me what you saw. Because at the end of the day, it was a fun fight. I don't regret nothing about it, and the better man won that night in Poirier, and that's what it was.
It would stand to reason that you would take his spot and that maybe you would just stay at 155. Is there a possibility that maybe this is just the end of Max Holloway as a featherweight and you're 155er now?
Nah, man, nah. First things first is Justin Gaethje. That's on my mind. I'm not thinking what's gonna happen after. If everything goes great and what comes with that. Like I said early in the interview, it's just options, man. Having options. I really want that 45 title back. I really want that 45 title back. I'll go back for it, whoever it is, and I'll give him my title shot. I'll go back there and get it. And then if I open up shots in 55, then why not? If I'm on both, why not, bro? If we're doing it the smart way, the right way, and I'm able to compete at both divisions, why not do it? That's what true BMF guys do. So
Hmm.
I'm excited for it.
Do you even see it as that big of a risk to 145? Because like even if for some reason, and I know you guys don't think this way, but even if for some reason it didn't go your way, I think Ilia Topuria and Max Holloway would still be a great fight. And just because you happen to move up, do you feel like it would kind of like maybe you're not taking the risk that some other people might say you are?
I mean, a lot of people, that's what I say, because a lot of people say, like, if everything happens, and Gaethje defends, whatever, then I can just always go back down. But, like, it's a risk, bro. It's a risk fighting the highlight. It's a risk. Name one time that someone came out of a Justin Gaethje fight unscathed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, at the end of the day, this is a huge fight. The guy is dangerous everywhere. And I'm excited. These are the kind of fights that just like intrigues me, gets me happy. It gets me like when I don't want to get up, I think about who I'm fighting. I'm like, brother, you need to get to this gym now. Because this guy ain't sleeping. So at the end of the day, I'm excited, man. This is one of the fights that really gets me going.
Can you tell me, because you mentioned it in the interview you did with Ramondi, and I apologize if this is like a story that people know of, but I never heard of this before. So, you had a fight at the Pepsi Center, and
Mhm.
he was the one driving you around during fight week, or
Yeah,
what? Like, what?
yeah. So that was the first time ever in yeah, I guess people don't know, but that's why he's so cool and stuff. But I guess people really didn't know. But yeah, Justin, like we had it all set up because you go out early, right, to Denver. Because I didn't know what altitude was, but my coach was like, bro, you gotta get out there early, whatever, whatever. And at the time we got set up, we got good, and everything that we got set up with fell out. And it got Gaethje actually for a couple of days, like took us like drove us around when we needed to go to certain places, like to our hotel, to the gym, because we was training at the gym, and he dropped us off a few times. So he was a cool dude, bro. That was before he was in the PFL. He just was like telling us that he wanted to be a pro, and he was pretty much in his car with his dog and everything in it, and it's an amazing story, bro. I don't know. Now we're here fighting in the UFC for the most craziest title there ever is in the UFC. So I'm excited. I'm glad we crossed paths at that time, and to see both our careers fruition to what it is just amazing. And being able to, like I said, step in the octagon with this man is it means a lot.
That is amazing. Would that have been in the while you were in the UFC? Was that the Justin Lawrence fight, like
That was Justin
2012?
Lawrence fight. That was Justin Lawrence fight. I think so. The main event was that Henderson versus Edgar? Wasn't
Yeah,
it Edgar? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, finally they give us our man Edgar some justice to finally put him in the Hall of Fame. Just a
Yeah.
matter of damn time. They took forever though.
How did you and Justin even like get linked up that time? Like, how did he know that
It
you needed a
he was
rise?
just he was just at the gym and he asked us. He's like, hey, do you need you need to go someplace? Because he saw we was looking for a ride and he's like, oh yeah, I'll drop you off. No biggie. Guy jumped in his car, made room in his car, dropped us off at the hotel we was staying. So cool dude, bro. Justin's a cool dude, bro. He's
I
a
mean,
real one.
that's awesome. I love that. There's another story that I do know of, but I guess and I think like longtime MMA fans will know about it. And you mentioned it in your Ramondi interview too. And I actually wouldn't bring it up, but you did mention it in the Ramondi interview, and that is that this guy did expose you on the scale
Oh
in
yeah, bro.
2018.
Yeah,
For
bro.
people who don't know that story and don't know what you're talking about, because that was actually one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, yeah,
And it
yeah,
was at
yeah,
your
yeah.
expense. It was at
Yeah.
your expense, but it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen
Brother,
come.
I told him, brother. Hey, I told him. And he even told me, he's like, brother, it just looked like you wanted to get off the scale. So I just threw the toe over. I was like, bro, you did the right thing. But I'm not gonna forget that, Gaethje. I guess that's the whole beef. I guess that's the way to set this fight. Like me and him has beef. What is that? That's a towel gate, right? We can call it a towel gate. Gaethje and Holloway's towel gate incident. So it's super funny, you know. And, bro, and I totally told her. That's the one I was covering. I was like, he's like, bro, I'm going right over. He looked at me and was like, I'm going right over. I was like, yeah, go right over, bro. And he did it. So shout out to him, bro. He got me off the scale sooner than later.
For those that don't know, Max was on the scale. He was forced to take everything off because he needed every little bit of his weight. And Justin, for whatever reason, this was before the hoop came about, which was desperately needed. And this was when two people just held the towel, and Justin was going to weigh in next. Uh, Stood
He
in
grabbed the
front,
towel, bro.
grabbed it. No one even asked him to do it. He volunteered for this job, and then moves the towel, but in front of like the actual scale. So it's Max scale towel. And then for some reason, Justin decided that the towel would be better if it was in front of
No,
Max
no,
and in
yeah.
between the scale and Max. So then he lifted it over, therefore completely ruined,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
negating the whole reason that the towel existed because he lifted it over your head.
No, yeah, no, it was funny because they thought no, that the commission was the other side, and the commission told him, "Oh, you can't hold the towel in front of the scale because we can't see the weight." So
Okay, so
they
they
was like,
told him that.
"Oh, okay. So you want to go over?" And then Gaethje looks at me. You want me to go over? I was like, "Yeah." And he lifts it over. So it was funny because they would have to wait till I put on my underwear, but drop the towel, go back on, take off my underwear, and then hold the towel again. So he
We just
saved
get
me. He saved me quite a bit of time to go get rehydrated.
we just got it done. Yep.
Yeah.
Um, that's fun, man. I think that's all the questions I have for you. The last thing I would ask you though is that you did when you said like Justin Gaethje is the kind of guy like I get up, and I don't want to get out of bed and the training's hard and I'm like, oh man, I got to go to the gym because I'm fighting Justin Gaethje. Is that just getting more tougher, And I'm sure that gets tougher like the longer you do this and the older you get. Like, is it getting tougher to get through these camps? Like, do you have more days where you don't want to get into camp, or you still like how does it compare to earlier in your career?
Earlier in my career, I was a young kid. You know, could eat anything, get to the gym, feel fine, whatever. And now, you're a little bit older and stuff. I need to be more on top of my nutrition. I need to be more smart. I need to be more diligent with what time I'm sleeping, try to have a sleeping schedule. Kind of sound like an old man now, but yeah, for sure, for sure. This comes with age. It comes with even just being smarter. Just being smarter as an athlete. A lot of stuff when you're younger, you can get away with stuff, but now everything's to a science because even these younger guys that's coming up they're just looking like what the hell are they doing and stuff. So it's amazing to stay with the game again. You got to keep growing, keep being smart, and I'm just blessed with the team I have around me. My wife that's nonstop helping me out, and just everything and everyone that's helping me out. The science that we have now is great. So I'm just blessed, man.
And last thing for you is last year, um, since everything went well and you picked up 2 wins, and you're sitting there ranked number one at 145 pounds, maybe you could answer this in a way that maybe you couldn't before. I don't know. Maybe the answer would have been the same. But was it more difficult? I mean, is it hard to like main event, main event, main event, title fight, title fight, title fight? And then you were in a situation where it was like, okay, now you got to fight down. You got to protect your spot. You got to fight the guys who
Mm,
are trying to take,
mm.
and you're not trying to gain something, you're trying to protect something here. And I know that's similar to a championship, but there wasn't a
Mhm.
championship attached. Do you know what I mean? Like, was there a different mindset? Like, are you proud of 2023? Like, even though maybe it wasn't, they would never be considered the biggest fights of your career, but in my mind, they could be, because of the situation you were in. Like, how did you feel about last year?
They had a stat, man. I didn't even notice. What was it? Was it like 7 years or something that I didn't fight 3 rounds? It was all 5 rounds. That was insane. And I thought it was actually going to be stopped because it was actually for 300. And then all of a sudden we get this BMF belt. So the marathon continues, another 5 rounder.
Hmm.
So at the end of the day, it ain't, it ain't. I like to carry myself as a world champion, and if I gotta fight these guys down, it is what it is. Like some of them, it's like it might be like, oh my god, whatever. But in my mind, I keep telling myself, I want to fight this guy. If this guy's really as good as he is, I'm gonna fight him. I'm gonna fight him at some point in my career. So why not now? I mean, it would be nicer to be the actual champ and have that little paycheck in the back of it. But this just has to be done. It has to be done. This is what I want to do. And I just gotta keep reminding people, to be the best, you gotta beat the best. The best is blessed.
Love it, man. Love it. Thank you so much for the time. Good luck in camp. Stay healthy, and we will see you back at 155 pounds for the first time since 2019 at UFC 300. Looking forward to it.